Justin asks, how do I stop using tarot predictively? So this is a valid question, actually. Some people naturally lean into reading predictively. Others don't necessarily believe in reading predictively or don't want to believe or don't want to read predictively. That just isn't in alignment with how they want to work with their cards. So how do you stop? So I guess the question, Justin, you're in here, right? I feel like I saw you. I think the question to ask you, especially in the spirit of like what you're looking for here, is to ask yourself or for me to ask you, I guess I should say, in what ways do you find yourself reading predictively that you want to shift? Like, do you feel like you tend to, I'm going to give an example. So like maybe you don't know how to do a card a day reading without reading predictively, or like a month ahead, or a general reading without reading predictively, because by nature, a month ahead is a predictive reading, right? That might be the issue, the sticking point. So maybe you could shed some light on where you're particularly getting stuck with wanting to not read predictively. And then I can give you some tips, because I read pretty grounded in the present. My stuff always tips a bit predictive, of course, and I don't mind reading predictively, but my readings for myself are much more present based. Okay, so Justin says, I find that it causes way more anxiety. I totally get that. Like, I asked about getting a new job and I pulled the 5 of Pentacles, and that has caused me so much anxiety. Okay, valid. So one of the things that happens when we work with tarot is this might be a personality thing. This might be like just knowing ourselves, right? This might be a reaction thing. This might be just a poor fit for ourselves energetically, but we might find ourselves sort of abdicating our power to our cards. And I've seen this a lot with clients I've read for, with friends. I've seen it with family members. I've done it. It's very easy to ask a question, get an answer, and then that answer becomes like it rules us. It rules over us. I actually watched a really incredible talk by blanking. T. Susan Chang. Thank you. Oh my gosh, that was bothering me. Anyways, T. Susan Chang did an incredible talk where she used the card of the day and talked about this very subject. And I'm not going to regurgitate everything she said, but one of the things that she did, I couldn't remember even if I wanted to. But one of the things she kind of discussed was this idea that we sort of can abdicate our power. We can let the tarot tell us how our day's going to go. And then we can find ourselves self-sabotaging or becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you get the Tower card and you're asking how your day is going to go, you're going to be looking for that Tower all day long. Most of us will. That's what we'll find ourselves naturally doing. And so instead, she kind of basically created this entire talk. It was at a tarot conference. She created this entire talk and kind of guided us through this process of like taking that and working with it with intentionality, taking control of that thing, turning it into a bit of a spell or a manifesto for your day that can carry you through, which I thought was a really cool take. Again, I couldn't tell you the specific. She got deep into it. We were looking at planetary hours and like the whole bit. It was quite cool. But at its face, if you pull a card, oh, that deck's in order. That's no fun. Let's pull another Tarot of Oneness card and flip my view again. If you pull a card for yourself for your day, and we'll get into precise questions in a minute, but let's just say you're just doing a card. Okay, what's my card of the day today? And you pull, oh, how convenient. I pulled the Devil. It's like this deck really wants to work with me. And you're like, great. I'm going to fall into old habits. I'm going to pick a wife. No, I'm going to pick a fight with my wife, whatever. Like this is the kind of stuff I might think if I'm abdicating my power in the reading, right? I'd be like, oh, well, great. There goes. My day's trash now. And it's a very easy mentality to shift in. Instead, there's a few methods I can share that work for me. One, and this is again for a general reading, and I will get to your point, Justin, I promise, about a more specific question. But let's say it's a general reading. My shift in perception comes when instead of seeing this as a prediction of how my day is going to go, I view my card of the day as a teacher that has advice for me for my day ahead. What would the devil tell me to keep in mind as I move through my day today? And that is really, really helpful. In fact, I'm going to sidebar for a second because I live for sidebars. This is what we do. The tarot project I'm working on that maybe next year, maybe later, depends on how quickly I get my stuff done. That tarot deck is literally a deck of 78 teachers in a way. That is sort of the vibe. It's called Convocation of Witches. It's a deck of mostly of elderly people, mostly grandmas. I've shared some art. We're actually trucking along through the majors right now with me and Francesca. But in any case, in that deck, I'm actually giving a slight a short bit like words of wisdom from this character. What advice would this character give you? Because I find that that's a really grounded way to look at the cards and also to hold on to your power. Because if somebody gives you advice, you get to decide how you're going to apply that advice. So if I pull the devil card, I might be like, well, the devil might tell me to couple things. The devil might encourage me to be a little bit loosey-goosey with, here, I'll put the box cover so you guys know what deck I'm looking at. This is the Tarot Oneness Mini. The devil might encourage me to lean into a little bit of naughtiness today. Maybe I don't be so rigid with the rule following today. Maybe I loosen up a little. Maybe I walk towards the darkness a little in a rebellious but powerful way. Or the devil might warn me. The devil might be like, you know what? I'm here to remind you what temptation looks like. I'm here to remind you how easy it is for you to slip into bad habits. So maybe today you focus on not giving into your bad habits quite so much. Maybe today you try to pay attention and stay mindful and create more space in conversations and listen more than you talk in order to allow yourself to not get sucked into those bad habits you want to avoid. So now I'm in conversation with this card. This card isn't telling me what's going to happen. This card is walking me through what I should keep in mind as I move through my day. And this method works really great as well. If you like to pull cards at the end of your day to reflect on your day, you're like, what did I learn? And this devil might come out and be like, and I can apply the devil to something that I experienced that day. And what did I learn from that? And so this is one way you can handle it in a general reading. And it actually, you'll see this play out because the way that I do daily pulls is I do an energy obstacle advice. I came up with the spread a long time ago. I've talked about it a ton on the channel, but energy obstacle advice is a really, really great way for me to check in with my day. So I'm going to pull 3 more cards. So energy obstacle advice. This is what a daily general pull would look like for me, right? So my energy is the 4 of Pentacles. So the energy of the day might be one of where safety is really important, or I need to just kind of recognize that this is maybe not the day to take a whole lot of risks. Like this is a day to sort of stay mindful and be present and not maybe stick my neck out too far. So maybe if I was thinking about reaching out to, I don't know, ask, like I'm married, but let's say you're going to ask somebody for a date. Maybe this isn't the risky day. Maybe this is the day we just kind of like chill a little bit. So the energy of the day is one of conservation rather than risk and spending, etc. Same thing, you could apply it to shopping and stuff too. But generally that the energy of the day is one of like safety and like staying in your safe zone, right? The 6 of Cups is the obstacle. The 6 of Cups is all about the past, memories, past experiences, etc. And that card is my obstacle. So something I might bump up against today, something I might want to be aware of is I might have a tendency to compare the present to the past. I might have a tendency to wish for something simpler, something easier. There might be something like that that bumps up that I just need to be aware of. See how it sounds kind of predictive, but it's still advice oriented. It's kind of like things for me to consider, not this is what's going to happen. Does that make sense? And then finally, my advice for the day is the 8 of Wands. Just keep moving forward. Like let the day just take me where it's going to take me. Be a little bit more open, but don't be so like, this is maybe the day for me to initiate things, but to kind of go with the flow. So that might be like one way that I do like a general. But to get to the point of now you've asked a specific question. To stop reading predictively, number 1, we need to stop asking predictive questions. So if you don't want to get an answer that's going to give you anxiety about like, so instead of saying, am I going to get the job? I would never ask that of the tarot. Or even, how is my interview going to go? I wouldn't ask that question because if I got a crap card, I'm going to feel anxious too. So 1000% I'm with you on that. But if I want to know about it, or if I want to prep for it and I want to go to the tarot for some guidance, then I'm going to say something like, how can I best prepare for this interview? That's advice. If I word the question like I'm looking for advice, then my answer is going to give me advice. So we have life. Oh, cool. I got some bonus cards. Life force, energy, perspective, and the embodiment, which is basically the King of Wands. So what do I need to do to prepare for this interview? And answering the question with these 3 cards, life force, energy. I need to walk in there like with engagement and interest. I need to be in a place of being not hyper, but definitely energetic, ready to like engage. I need to be present. Perspective. I need to remember that look at all these balloons. This is not the only job. So I need to not go in there as if it's like life or death. be all end all. There's always going to be another opportunity. So I need to walk in not like putting so much pressure on myself or this interview. And then the embodiment of wands, the King of Wands is all about like knowing your skills, like knowing what you bring to the table, bringing that charisma, bringing that confidence to that engagement, to that appointment or interview, right? So this is going to be how I should approach the interview. Now I've got advice to frame my experience, but nothing here has told me what the outcome is going to be. And the reason I don't like reading in general for predictive outcomes, and I don't, even when I read predictively oriented, I'm always reading trajectory, not fixed outcome, because I don't believe in reading fixed outcomes. So that's my own personal belief. Others people's mileage may vary, but also because looking at a trajectory assumes that you're going to stay on the current path. You're going to continue doing what you're doing. You're going to continue to move in that direction, or do things that stack on top of that direction, and therefore are likely to go in that way, go in that direction. For example, if you're having marriage difficulty and you're working on it actively and you're putting the steps in place, right, to do things better, to engage better, you're on a trajectory to improve your marriage. But if you get a tarot reading that's like, well, your marriage is doomed to fail, how are you going to feel about continuing to try? But instead, if you look at a trajectory reading, it's like, well, if you continue to do the work you're doing, you're on a really good course. What you want to be aware of is not straying over here, not doing this over here. And so you can kind of get into that as a reader. So that's my very long-winded answer to that question.